At the 2024 iteration of the Game Awards, true to form, there wasn't a right lot that tickled my fancy, however there were some things. For instance, the announcement of The Witcher 4 complete with this trailer, a cinematic pre-rendered in Unreal Engine 5 on a yet-to-be-announced NVIDIA RTX GPU of some description. Now, I wasn't expecting a Witcher 4 trailer at the Game Awards, I'll say that much, and now that we have one, I don't necessarily expect this game to be arriving in the immediate near future, or even for a few more years. After all, it is CD Projekt Red. But we did recently get news that The Witcher 4, or at the time, the unannounced next Witcher game, had entered full development. How long it had been in full development before we got told about it, I don't know. They're really not obligated to tell us that. However, the wording and narrative around it suggest that it is a recent development, so to speak. So I go into this video under no illusions that this game is coming soon. However, this trailer serves to be the official reveal. I mean, we knew the game existed. CD Projekt had shown us this artwork in the past, showcasing a new Witcher medallion, that of the School of the Lynx or something. And we knew we'd be parting with the series' protagonist, Geralt of Rivia. And that led to a couple of theories with regards to the direction CD Projekt might take with this one. One of those theories was it would be an entirely new set of characters at a different time, but the other theory was that it would be Ciri who we'd be taking control of in the next Witcher title. This cinematic would appear to confirm that latter theory is correct, as The Witcher the cinematic focuses on is of course an ashen-haired woman. And this easy piecing two and two together would be confirmed by The Witcher's official Twitter account, sorry I'm still calling it Twitter, I'm an old dog alright, where the following statement was made. There are no gods here, only monsters. We're thrilled to reveal the first look at The Witcher 4, our upcoming single-player open-world RPG. It marks the beginning of a new saga with Ciri as a protagonist, embarking on her own journey to become a professional monster slayer. And here are my thoughts on that. Well, that would canonise one of the endings of The Witcher 3, considering it's also an RPG. That's not necessarily the most ideal thing ever, but it's hardly the end of the world. Naturally though, you will get people debating over which ending is the right one, and sometimes the confirmation of which choice is correct can be met without welcome. And even though the confirmation of this plot direction does confirm the arguable best ending for The Witcher 3 as being the canon one, there are yet still other layers of opinion to sift through. For instance, that post-ending storytelling being open to interpretation, and once we've pushed past that, we end up in the territory of the mind-numbing woke versus anti-woke shenanigans. Behave thysen. Fortunately, for the time being, it doesn't seem as if conversation around the game has fallen off a cliff immediately, and there's a tapestry of camps of opinion. For instance, some people were pro playing as Ciri in this next Witcher title, and other people thought that maybe it was time to move on from these characters altogether, go to a different part of this world, and play as a Witcher not in any way connected at all to Geralt of Rivia, giving a fresh trilogy, a fresh saga, a truly fresh start. And I personally would have leaned towards that. However, I'm not the one making the game. My opinion on that doesn't hugely matter, not least now anyway. And I'm cool with that, provided CD Projekt Red attack this project with the artistic vision they've proven they possess, and the game, you know, fucking works whenever it launches. There are other opinions I've seen, indifference, or perhaps even just indifference to a cinematic trailer. After all, it doesn't show us the game, it shows us the concept, the idea, an idea we're largely familiar with already, and only really gives away snippets of information pertinent to what's actually going to be in The Witcher 4. And so from that, it's very easy to conclude that we don't have anywhere near as much information as the existence of a cinematic trailer might suggest. But of course, there is more than plenty to analyse, and there'd better be, because I wouldn't exactly bet money on seeing much of anything for a few years on this game after this point. But my speculation has been wrong in the past, and at some point, on some topic, I'm willing to bet I'll be wrong again, because in the end of the day, I don't have inside information. I just have what I can go off, which is my own interpretations based on what I've seen, what I know from past experiences, or indeed how I've observed certain companies operating from a consumer's perspective in the past, same as you. And we know game development these days especially is an incredibly slow process, so it's 100% worth tempering hype for the time being because we'll probably have a long wait ahead of us. However, with that aside, here are some cool things I've noticed in the Witcher 4 cinematic trailer. The trailer opens with a bathtub, which is how you know it's a Witcher game, as well as Ciri performing Witcher signs, which suggests that she's no rookie by this point. Her voice has also changed.
By the gods!
No! You chose her.
So maybe she's not just a tad, but a fair bit older than she was in The Witcher 3. So perhaps she's had some experience on the path, whether that be 5, 10, 15, 20 years, surely enough to make her a more than capable monster slayer. Skills no doubt handy considering what she's doing in the trailer. We also see she's sporting that Lynx medallion that we saw in this piece of artwork, so perhaps this School of the Lynx that we haven't heard of up until, well, this piece of artwork, and indeed this trailer, is of her own creation. She founded this, perhaps as a means to move the world forwards with a new generation of witchers. After all, by the events of The Witcher 3, the population of witchers is dying out, and well, true to form, or it would be a boring game, there are monsters galore. However, it's yet to be confirmed that this medallion is depicting a lynx. It's just a theory, and it's a bloody good one. There's no real content on it being called the School of the Lynx either. That is another fan assumption, but I do find myself having a tricky time believing it's far off. Now naturally, the trailer has our Witcher fight a monster. However, the monster isn't really the subject, it's just a cool action sequence. However, the trailer, naturally in true Witcher form, is more using this as symbolism for humanity. It would seem this village of people is sacrificing one of its own to what they believe to be the gods, and they're not terribly keen on a Witcher interfering. Ciri interferes anyway, slays the monster, returns to the village with its head as a trophy, and the trailer ends with the following interaction.
She were to go to the woods. The chosen one. His tradition.
Oh no, no, no.
It's all we wanted. For her to go to the woods. To go to the gods.
Gods? There are no gods here. There are only monsters.
I'm not fond of this walking towards the camera business being the off-ramp shot. However, just like Geralt in the Killing Monsters trailer,
What are you doing?
Killing monsters.
Ciri isn't referring to literal monsters in Witcher context, but rather the fact that humans have the capacity to be moral monsters too. A worldview Geralt shares, perhaps even influencing Ciri here. Now it does seem like she's been through a fair bit since we've last seen her, and I'm not talking about the fact she can drink Witcher potions and be fine. However, that is certainly curious. Is she just naturally immune to the negative side effects? Or has she undergone some form of mutation? Outside of necking that potion, her eyes are always caught at angles where you could take it either which way. Her eyes do seem quite cat-like, so she may have undergone the trial of the grasses, and the eyes under the influence of that potion may certainly give you that impression too. Not to mention the fact that the potion didn't kill her, but it could just be some editing trickery or indeed most prominent during the come down from that potion, but the shaping isn't as prominent and obvious as say Geralt's. So I don't know. I don't think they're intending to be confusing here, or maybe they are. It seems like a hint of ambiguity if you ask me, but for her to now be an actual mutated Witcher would mean that she undertook the trial of the grasses as an adult, or some variant of it, and then she'd have to find somebody who still knew how to do it, people who happen to be in short supply in the Witcher universe, circa the games, who just so happen to be confident enough in their ability to perform this procedure on an adult when it's only ever really been applied to children whose bodies are more open to change, and this abomination of a baby creature that happens to be a cursed ancient elven mage, albeit only partially, and even then it still fails more than it succeeds, resulting in an agonizing death. I suppose there's probably certainly a way to explain it and make it make sense, and I'm in no hurry to find that out. I'm sure the game, in 600 years or whenever it releases, will provide some context as to how that was accomplished, and it would certainly provide us with an interesting dynamic to explore. A Witcher who's a Witcher by choice. Most Witchers were subjected to the mutations before they were old enough to have an opinion on them, so hopefully Ciri provides a unique perspective there. I've just noticed the descriptive text posted on the Witcher's X account does in fact describe her eyes as yellow and cat-like, so I suppose that more or less confirms it. I'll leave it in because I think I made a good point about her offering a unique perspective with regards to how she chose to undertake the trial of the grasses as an adult. Anyway, that was a tangent. What I was saying is Ciri appears to have come to a very similar worldview, or at least the appearance of a similar worldview to her surrogate father figure Geralt of Rivia. I suppose it will be interesting to explore the differences between the characters as witches, although I will say this trailer didn't deal in subtlety with regards to expressing this in the way that Killing Monsters cinematic did for The Witcher 3. Nonetheless, the parallel is noticed. Now, to satisfy a bit of curiosity, I guess the question is, will Geralt be in the game? Well, I don't think he's going to be playable. I think in that regard, his story is definitely over. However, might he be involved in the story somehow? Maybe. Maybe he'll show up as something of a cameo, perhaps, just to confirm that he didn't plop dead off screen, maybe. Maybe his whereabouts and well-being will be a mystery. Wouldn't that just be a reverse Witcher 3? You know, okay, maybe not. I have a hard time believing CD Projekt Red will ice him out without having a reason. But understandably, Geralt's time as the lead is over, at least for the games, and that distinction will be made somehow. And of course, I don't mean just playing as a different character. Away from that, I'd like to compliment the tone of the trailer. I'm a big fan of that. I like the bleak atmosphere of the Witcher series. It thrives off it from its soundtrack, delivery of culture, storytelling, and very framing of the world besides, and this trailer is no different. So much so that you could tell this was a Witcher game before you even saw the CD Projekt Red card, and that's my favourite part about these sorts of premiere trailers. You don't really know what you're looking at until you figure it out. I don't like when games are announced ahead of any trailers are out like that. I quite like the feeling of figuring out what a trailer is trying to show me before the trailer is actually ready to give me a title card or give it away with other obvious clues when it comes to sequels. It's the subtle things, that fantasy setting, the somber tones, the uniquely suspenseful ambient music, and the bumpkins with West Country accents.
Forgive me, daughter. 'Twere my only choice.
It just gives that dead giveaway of a mysterious warrior with two swords, that extra layer of satisfaction. I don't know if you know what I mean, but please let me know if you can relate. Or I might just be nuts. Now here's the question. When will The Witcher 4 be arriving? When will it be releasing? When will we see gameplay? These are all good questions, and I'm sure they will be answered in time. I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to be a few years before this game is hitting the shelves, even if those shelves are digital mostly these days, because game development is incredibly long-winded and complex, and this has supposedly only just entered full production, so there's no real telling how long in full production it will need before it's done. Perhaps CD Projekt are actually further along in their production of this game than they're letting on. I somehow doubt that, but I'd like to avoid making assumptions with regards to my next point either. If it's really far off, why show us a trailer now, knowing that we'll have to wait X amount of years before we can play this game? And sadly, I think that's the nature of the marketing beast that is the games industry now. It takes so long to actually create a game from start to finish that you need to entice investors on the fly. And sometimes that means marketing the game prematurely, or perhaps it's more to do with satisfying the fans' demand to know if there is indeed a title coming, but we already knew that with The Witcher. Fortunately, these days I'm way too good at switching my brain off and focusing on other things, so it's not a big deal to me. However, though I don't wish to piss in your cornflakes, it might be worth avoiding getting too excited, too hyped until we actually see some gameplay, which will happen before the game releases, whenever that might be. After all, the cinematic, though blood-pumping and in Unreal Engine 5, certainly is not gameplay and isn't necessarily game footage either. You could call it glorified motion concept art if you want. After all, a concept is all it ever promised to be. In fact, we didn't really know it was going to happen until it kind of did, so it didn't promise anything. And though we did know that it was in development, we've certainly come away with more information than we had, and more information than we expected. So it's not like we don't benefit, but the ball of managing expectations is now planted firmly in our court. And I frankly doubt the wait will be short. 2, 3, 4, 5 years, hell, this might be the next Elder Scrolls 6. A game given a tease for no reason and then never mentioned again, and probably won't be until hell freezes over at this point. Anyway, please let me know what you think about The Witcher 4's announcement trailer down in the comment section. After all, that is what it's there for. And I do, at least for a bit before it descends into chaos, read the comments. I am, however, going to leave the video there because there is only so much you can ramble about a cinematic trailer, but I will leave a link to every source of information I've used in this video down in the description if you wish to go sleuthing for more details. Nonetheless, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends, all that wonderful stuff. It would be massively appreciated, only if you want to, of course, and maybe check out some of my social media if you feel inclined to do that, but again, the call is yours. I'm not forcing anybody at gunpoint. And before I forget, which I almost did, if you'd like to see more Witcher content from me, conveniently I recently started a playlist diving into some of the lore stuff, especially around The Witcher 3. I'll probably work my way back from there and tackle topics that interest me more than anything, but I'm really looking forward to expanding that playlist, so if you have any suggestions for that, then definitely let me know. But you know what, it's time for me to stop talking. I'd like to thank you again for watching, and with any luck I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point. But until next time, please take care and goodbye.